Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Shareholders present live, in person, and on virtual, or members of the media, both accounts, colleagues, friends. Welcome to the second AGM for CPJ in less than 6 months. So I just want to remind everyone, we actually had an AGM in February thereabout, because the original year-end was end of June. The year-end was changed to the end of December calendar year to be in line with the separate Brian's group. As such, we're now having a second AGM because of that change. So a lot of questions have been answered before and comments, but as per protocol, we're doing our AGM now, okay? So I want to welcome everyone to the meeting. To the persons who are accustomed to attending the meeting in Montego Bay, this will be the first time CPJ and AGM is being held outside of Montego Bay. Trying to widen the spread, and we'll keep going back and forth. And who else that we have to say? Yeah, those are the main people. So welcome online if you're there. And it's not any disrespect to Mobile, we're just going to keep rotating it around so that other shareholders can be involved. I'll call Christopher Miles, our Finance Director, to read the notice of meeting, the apologies for absence, and receipt of proxies.
Afternoon all, and just for the record, our secretary is in fact in the meeting, but she have asked me to represent her physically here. And so notice of the annual general meeting is hereby given that the AGM of CPJ Caribbean Producers Jamaica Limited Group will be held at Terra Nova All Suite Hotel, 17 Waterloo Road, Kingston, on Monday, 28th July, starting at 2 p.m. for shareholders to consider and, if thought fit, to pass the following resolutions. Resolution number 1, to receive the report of the directors and auditors and the audited accounts of the company for the financial year ended 31st December 2024. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolution: that the report of the directors and auditors and the audited accounts of the company for the financial year ended December 31st, 2024 be adopted. Number 2, in accordance with Article 102 of the company's Articles of Incorporation, Thomas Tyler, Candice Hart, and Teresa Chin retired from office by rotation and being eligible offer themselves up for re-election. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolutions: that Thomas Tyler, who retires by rotation and being eligible for re-election, be and is hereby re-elected a director of the company. B, that Candice Hart, who retires by rotation and being eligible for re-election, be and is hereby re-elected a director of the company. C, that Teresa Chin, who retires by rotation and being eligible for re-election, be and is hereby re-elected a director of the company. To appoint auditors and authorize directors and fix remuneration of the auditors. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolution: that the directors be and are hereby authorized to appoint PwC as auditors for the company to hold office until next annual general meeting at a remuneration to be fixed by the directors of the company. And number 3, which should be number 4, to fix remuneration of the directors. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolution: that the amount included in the audited accounts of the group for the year ended December 31st, 2024, as remuneration for their services as director be and is hereby approved. This is dated the 12th day of June 2025 by order of the board, signed by our company secretary, Teresa Chin. And for the record, Mr. Chair, there were no apologies and no proxy received, sir.
Thanks, Chris. So the next person up on stage will be Nicholas Hospitalis. He's our CEO for CPJ. He was seconded from A.S. Bryden and Sons from Trinidad and Tobago, where he was, been one of our more upstanding managerial talent. It was a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have him in Jamaica, getting to know our culture and getting to know the team. So Nicholas will now give a presentation on key business objectives and business overview.
Thank you, Chair. Certainly been a pleasure thus far being in Jamaica and, as you say, learning the culture, the organization, etc. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to be here with you to share a few reflections on where we've been and certainly where we've headed. As you know, this AGM covers, as our chairman mentioned, a 6-month period, July to December. That period marked a major transition for the company, beginning with the acquisition of the Bryden Group by the Bryden Group out of Trinidad and our entry into the wider Steprod family. We had some early challenges. Certainly, this included the fallout from Hurricane Beryl and U.S. travel advisory. So some of the things that are out of our control, and this obviously hit some of the key customer segments. But even in that tough environment, our team showed real resilience and a lot of drive and passion for what they do. We ended the period with consolidated revenues of $80.2 million, which is just about 8% ahead of the same period for 2023. That's encouraging progress, and much of it came from our work with Angostura on the Straight Vibes brand, which really took off. This success was really a great example of what happens when we move fast, stay focused, and work in sync with the right partners. It's been an amazing partnership so far, and we really are enjoying the way we're working together and everything that is in front of us. We also saw solid growth in meats, seafood, dairy, and non-alcoholic beverages. Strong performance across very important categories for our business. On the flip side, our margins took a hit from fulfillment costs in St. Lucia, which meant that gross profit stayed flat year on year. That said, we made good headway in addressing those operational pain points by tapping into our group's expertise and network. EBITDA came in at $6.9 million, which is actually down 16% compared to the same period in the year before. This reflects some planned increases in staffing and other costs as we geared up to support the upcoming ERP implementation, which has been much talked about, new brand partnerships, and operations at our cul-de-sac store in St. Lucia. Speaking of which, a lot of behind-the-scenes work over the period was about building the foundation for the future, getting ready for the ERP system, aligning our cadence with the Steprod group, and unlocking synergies across the group. A special mention here to our team for the successful SQF certification of our warehouse, a major milestone that reflects our commitment to quality and safety. This has really gone a long way in how we are able to reach our key customers in the hospitality trade. And our next plan is for meat and juice plants to also be SQF certified. So a work in progress, watch this space, there'll be more to come. So let me also take a moment to share a few key updates since the end of the reporting period. So what's taken place between December and now. So our ERP implementation, we officially launched the system at the end of April. As users become increasingly adept in the new software, we are getting greater wins as we optimize the opportunities this investment in technology affords us. There's more to come here as well. Lots when we talk about artificial intelligence, etc. We're just scratching the surface of the software. Kingston distribution was also an important leverage point for us. The project is now underway and already making an impact. This move allows us to serve the Southeast more effectively and step up our logistical responsiveness in a critical part of the island. It can't be ignored. Though we have traditionally primarily served the north coast of the island, a very, very big part of our customer base and growing part of our customer base is based in Kingston and environs. So we got to focus there, and this gives us a logistical edge in getting there. Our meat processing facility has finally been commissioned with new equipment at the meat plant, which is driving better efficiency and increased volumes for key hospitality and retail products. In the past, we've had to stymie our growth and hold back because we only had a certain capacity that we could have tapped into, and that was pretty much maxed out. Now we have the ability that could take us to reach new channels and innovate on products. So you can see more, you can expect to see more new products coming out of the plant. It's especially important to us, as CPJ has always been a champion of Jamaica and adding value through linkages to the tourism sector. We're just getting started on this next chapter. This integration into CEPROD is already opening doors, and there's strong alignment within our leadership team on where we're going. We know there'll be bumps along the way, but with the right people, the right tools, and a clear vision, we're confident in our ability to grow, innovate, and create lasting value for our stakeholders. Thank you again for your continued support. I'm excited about what's ahead, and I look forward to what we'll achieve together. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. As you realize, we just pretty much last week celebrated our 1-year anniversary as a combined entity. So it's, that's pretty exciting. So coming up next will be Christopher Miles, and he'll give our business and financial highlights on the business and financial performance. Chris?
Thank you again, boss. So I am going to take for granted, very liberal, that we would have gone through, read the financials, and so this is very, 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 very high level. Richard would have indicated, Mr. Chair would have indicated that our year-end has changed to December 31st, and so as that's the biggest highlight. It was a mammoth task for us, especially in finance, and I just want to hail up our auditors who were equal to the task and got us over the line in good time. But generally, Nick alluded to it, our operational revenue was at $80 million, which was 8% above the comparable period. And again, this is a 6-month period, so if you want to visualize the full year effect, just multiply by 2, because for the 6 months we did 80.15, which was 8% above 2023. Again, as Nick mentioned, this was pushed heavily by new brands, including the Angostura brand, Straight Vibes, and other products in that category. Oh, and everything that you see here is in US dollars, and as is demonstrated, it's in the millions, so yes. CPJ reports exclusively in US dollars. We don't report in Jamaican dollars, all right? So just a point to note. Despite revenue growth, and we're speaking on gross profit and expenses here, gross profit remained flat year over year, primarily due to elevated fulfillment and logistics costs. And we had operational expense, which grew by just over $1.1 million. And some of it was related to some of the new projects that we took on, both in Jamaica and in St. Lucia. At the end of the period, we saw where our profit before tax reduced by $2.93 million, because even though we grew on the top line, we had significantly increased expenses. Capital investment and liquidity. CapEx during the period amounted to approximately $3.7 million, again allocated to ERP infrastructure that we were putting in place, manufacturing upgrades, and facility enhancement. The group total assets increased to $106.2 million, with total equity rising to $41 million, reflecting stronger return earnings and better liquidity in the period. For shareholders, unfortunately, CPJ did not declare a dividend this year, but in terms of our earnings per share, we stood at $0.24 US per share, and which was an improvement over prior year period. All in all, CPJ did well for the period, the 6 months under review, driven largely by some of what you heard Nick mention before, and based on the environment and all the challenges that we faced during the period, the company's performance was well received and adequate. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, so now Wilbert Spence from KPMG will read the auditor's report, after which we'll do the Q&A based on the results. Wilbert?
Thanks, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. I don't want it to be said that I'm a troublemaker, so I'm going to ask the chair if he may probably want to pass a resolution for me to read the opinion section of the audit report rather than to read the entire audit report. So, Mr. Chair, I'm not sure if what's your position on that. Some members tend to.
Are there no objections if that is done? Nay, all right, all nays say go ahead, you're good.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know there are other cases where I have to read it twice, you know, to read the opinion first, and then somebody object after, so you have to read everything. But thanks, Mr. Chair. So the opinion is found, the auditor's report is found on page 51 of your annual report. So I just read the opinion section thereof. Independent auditor's report to the members of Caribbean Producers Jamaica Limited. Report on the audit of the financial statements. Opinion. We have audited the financial statements of Caribbean Producers Jamaica Limited, the company in bracket, comprising the separate financial statements of the company and the consolidated financial statements of the company and its subsidiaries in bracket, the group, set out on pages 57 to 107, which comprise the groups and companies' statement of financial position as at December 31st, 2024, the groups and companies' statements of profit or loss and other comprehensive income changes in equity and cash flows for the period then ended, and notes comprising material accounting policy and other explanatory information. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of the group and the company as at December 31st, 2024, and the position of the group and company's financial performance and cash flows for the period then ended in accordance with IFRS accounting standards as issued by the International Accounting Standard Board, in bracket IFRS accounting standards, and in the manner required by the Jamaican Companies Act. There's another opinion we have on page 54 in regards to the Companies Act. Report on additional matters as required by the Jamaican Companies Act. We have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. In our opinion, proper accounting records have been maintained so far as appears from our examination of those records, and the financial statements which are in agreement therewith give the information required by the Jamaican Companies Act in the manner required. The engagement partner and the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Wilbert Spence. Our audit opinion is dated March 3rd, 2025, and it's signed by KPMG, Chartered Accountants, Montego Bay, Jamaica.
Everybody just love you today, Wilbert. All right, so I know we have people online, persons online, we have some persons here, so we're going to open up discussion for question and answer, which will be handled collectively by Chris, Nicholas, myself, and anybody else that we deem necessary to answer the questions. If there are any questions, please, just Michael will be brought to you, name and then question, please. No, it's not harder.
Robert March. When CPJ owned, fully or mostly owned CPJ, all the meetings were kept in Montego Bay. And I'm not going to drive all the way to Montego Bay for an hour-and-a-half meeting for nobody. So I don't think there should be a rotation. I think you should have the meetings in Kingston only, so I can come every year. I don't know what anybody thinks about that, but that's what I can keep with you the separate meeting. Right after a separate meeting, you have your
So it's a point to note as opposed to a question.
Point to
All right,
note,
cool.
right? So
All
the
right.
question now is,
Okay.
I see that you're going to do the special economic zone certification. The only company in Jamaica that has that right now is Kingston Wharves. So you guys, how far ahead are you with that because we don't pay interest on dividends.
That box tick.
And so how soon? So before you pay dividends, try and get it. So we get.
No, I'm saying that box is tick. We've done. We've had it.
Yeah, so that means the next dividend you pay, no interest, no tax on dividend.
No, I don't know about tax on dividend. We're speaking.
That's how it works.
Yeah, sorry. No, we're talking about we're in a special economic zone within the operation
So
to allow for us to operate almost like a hub
yeah,
for the rest of the region.
so you don't get the benefits of tax-free dividends. Oh,
No.
Kingston Wharves get it. That's the only other company in Jamaica. You get it outside of Jamaica, St. Lucia, whatever you get.
No, I think we misinterpreted. Just to be clear on it, the company, CPJ is not becoming a special economic zone in its entirety. There's a function, there's a warehousing function within CPJ that will have that status, which will use to expand our regional footprint, both for our distribution and our manufacturing. That's what we mean.
So I read it wrong then.
Absolutely.
Just to go and get the certification, but no other benefits, tax-wise.
No, it's,
Mr. Chair, may I just?
no, but you can turn your mic.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
on. So the SEZ, Special Economic Zone, primarily is for the operation, as the chairman is saying, within the company. So as it relates to dividends and all that other kind of stuff, the way that it is set up is that it's a separate company that functions as a part of the entirety of CPJ. And so any benefit that is received by that company, including it's basically on importation. So there no taxes or anything, as you're alluding to in terms of dividends, will be paid from that company. All savings will come back to the parent company, as that is the company that technically function and operate as the mothership that does all the other transaction, including dividends payments.
So it's only on importation CPJ will get the break.
Predominantly.
It's a cash flow impact, but I mean,
Yeah.
we have the way we do things in our group. Everything we do, we have a regional ambition, right? So we see CPJ in that. It was very much an amazing job done by the persons who built it. Mark Hart, Tom Tyler, and I was predominantly for the hospitality sector, especially in that part of Jamaica. Our ambition is to take it much further, and therefore, I mean, everything is just putting in place is to ensure that we have a regional footprint, of which the Jamaican base, both the manufacturing side of it and the distribution side of it will be set to expand. Right now, we're just putting the pieces into place.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So I know you have a logistics problem shipping between Montego Bay and Kingston, with trucking and all
Well,
that.
not a problem,
And
of course.
a cost and you shortage of drivers and everything. So maybe with the AI, you can go into autonomous trucking between Kingston.
All right. Any other questions? Yeah, Mr. Barber.
Hello, yeah, back again. It was mentioned that CPJ reports in US dollars. Does that mean you pay dividends in US dollars?
No.
One should follow the other. Also?
No, I don't. No, the answer is no, we don't pay you dividends in US dollars.
No intention of?
Not at this point in time. Nothing changes.
So then,
Our objective at this stage is more about building the business. Let's be clear on that. I mean, whatever comes after that, comes after that. When we look at CPJ, we saw a gem of a company. With possibility, went through some rough times in COVID, etc. I mean, from where we sit, we believe that we have the wherewithal, based on what we see and based on what we bring to the table, combined, we think we can create something even more special. I think the focus should be on that, on growing the business in a very profitable, sustainable way. The dividends will come after that, where you can buy as much US dollars as you want.
a question then, as you're now part of the separate group,
Part of the Bridens Group, which is part of the
Bridens
separate,
group,
right? Yeah.
that mustn't, as the main group reports in Jamaican, is there any intention for CPJ to report in Jamaican,
I mean,
since things are in a state of change and flux?
at this point in time, the focus is on us growing the business and integrating and getting the synergies. The financial question, whether we're reporting Jamaican dollars or pay dividend, I think those are down the road. I think right now it's 1 year, literally been 1 year. Very different culture, very different mindset, very different. So allow us the luxury to just understand that and move forward. And, we have actually moved our stake in, if you notice, we moved our stake in CPJ considerably in December. So I think we need to get past those stages And I think if as a shareholder, my focus would be for management to build the business and grow it out and grow more profitable. But so that's where the focus is right now.
Good point. Okay. So can we get an updated 3 months from January to March? It was not on the stock exchange website.
So yes, it was.
I looked before I came. No.
Well, we're absolutely sure we did one. So I mean, we can do it afterwards together.
Well, can we get a bit of update here now?
Do you have it? You can pull it up. But you can just give the update. But Nicholas, you and I wrote it. I don't remember. So come up, but a couple of things happening. I mean, just going so our business has been growing. First of all, I think post the trauma of the advisory and burial, there's good recovery in the last part of December, in the latter part of the quarter. Then we have our relationship, as Nick pointed out in his report, in the 6 months report. We have additional partnership that have driven the business forward. And yeah, I think we're ahead on all the numbers for the first quarter. Right. We're ahead on all the numbers for the first quarter. Can you find it?
Here.
Yeah, come and read it. I mean, we find it, We found it. Why are you stressing? Oh, it's real short. Lord. No, it's not real short.
No, it's real short. It's real short because it's basically from there.
Okay, so for the period first quarter, for the period, CPJ Group reported operating revenue of circa 46 million US, reflecting a 21% increase over the previous year's revenue of 37 million. The group posted a 25% increase in pre-tax profit compared to prior year. And what else we had there? Performance was driven by addition of new SKUs. We spoke about that. In the food category, there are increased sales in the large resorts, and specifically in the fast food channel. Well, members of the team here, Kamar, Luis, etc., we've been driving not just hospitality, we're looking at retail expansion. There's also a 6% increase in operational costs, led by higher selling and admin costs, and also from additional headcount. And significant costs are incurred as we continue the $3.7 million US upgrade of the manufacturing facility. Total assets increased by $1.4 million compared to the same period prior year. And the rise in assets was primarily due to increase in inventory and CapEx investments. What else is there of interest? Anything else? Answer any questions yet? All the numbers are up, right? For the first quarter. Not to say that it will continue the same way for the second quarter, but all the numbers are up. Key projects that are in progress include manufacturing plant upgrade to be completed by end of June 2025. Use of the special economic zone, note the language. Implementation of a warehouse storage and distribution system out of Kingston, June 2025, completed this weekend actually. And ERP implementation, which is anticipated to enhance efficiency, transparency, and productivity improvement. That was slotted for July 2025. It went go live 13 weeks ago. It's a difficult implementation. It's stabilizing now, and we expect that to be significantly improved going forward. So I just did a quick Q1 review. Yeah, you're most welcome.
Draxall was the last retailer anymore
So in terms of the retail outlets in Jamaica,
yeah.
because CPJ also includes a St. Lucia element. Huh?
Yeah,
I mean, I think shareholders always forget that. In terms of Jamaica, at this point in time, there's no immediate plan for retail expansion. We intend to expand in retail, however, by getting into other places. So the CPJ brand will be in other retail locations. And Kemar didn't mic you, but you want to say anything? No, not really. All right. I'm trying to, visualize my team. But anyway, so we'll be going into the CPJ brand will be expanded in other retail locations, but not necessarily in brick and mortar that we own.
They used to have a little deli works in CPJ on.
Oh, yeah, and up the road there's a crew.
Right. So you're going to open one back again?
No, absolutely not. No. Our focus is on creating the most value for our shareholders. We believe that a lot of people, when they think CPJ, think the wine, they have great wine portfolio and beverage portfolio. Your protein business is actually very significant. And the manufacturing side of it, the value-added processing is huge opportunity for the region. I mean, so our mindset is really regional to drive the value of the business.
Two questions. I can't remember why you may have said it in the press. Why didn't you do a 100% takeover of CPJ then, since there is so much seemingly value added?
Damon can answer. I don't know if you're, come on. I don't know. I don't remember.
Afternoon, everyone. I'm Damian Dodd, CFO of the Support Group. So our intention was not to delist CPJ. CPJ is still listed on stock exchange. For that to happen, you have to have, let me just say, more than one shareholder. You have to have non-controlling shareholders, right? And so that our objective was to keep CPJ listed on the stock exchange.
What advantage is there doing that?
There are advantages of having a company listed on a stock exchange, that there's some knowledge of the value of your shareholdings. There's liquidity in your shares. There's ability to raise capital. I mean, it's just a general value of having a company listed on the stock exchange.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
My second question.
And in that loop, can I bring up Bernadette Sammy, Mrs. Sammy? She's the CFO for Brian's Group. Or you can stand up so people in there can see you. It's all right. All right, cool.
Yeah, you see, I'm torn a triangulate between Seprod, CPJ, and Ashbish, or whatever
You're
you
not
call
good.
it.
You're not good threesome.
No. I mean, I'm juggling.
Triangle. Sorry.
How is the Draxhall location? I think it was opened up not that long ago, so to speak, and then there was a takeover and all the rest of
So
it.
it's interesting. I mean, if you think of Draxel, you have to think of Jamaica tourism. So approximately 30% of our visitors are now staying in Airbnb. A lot of people don't realize that. And Draxel community has become a significant Airbnb community. So that location, if you go in there to spend some time, you see a lot of visitors going there, a lot of Jamaican diaspora, a lot of people. So it's actually one of the fastest growing, and in my mind, mid to high income area in Jamaica. So I think the location is going very well. Fantastic staff down there. I mean, amazing service. You should go and try it out. But it's going well.
Will do. The last time there was just too much traffic.
Yeah, that was KFC.
Miss,
Yeah, sorry.
we've got 4 questions online, all from Mr. David Rose. It is about 8 questions. The first one is Mr. Chairman Pandui. How does the integration of CPJ with AS Bryden support access to USD, I'm going to say, for AS Brydens? And the second part of that is CPJ accessing certain services or products from ASB, from Brydens?
Certain products are unknown. Well, I mean, okay. So when let me go back to what he's really asking. So the fact is that AS Bryden, the parent company for CPJ, is domiciled in Trinidad and Tobago, and there's no secret about the FX access to FX issues that exist in Trinidad. And in fact, that's one reason that made CPJ so attractive for them. So obviously, being a part of the group, CPJ has opened up other opportunities for Brydens to access FX to meet their own needs. So yes, the synergies of that is going to help. Equally, the regional footprint and that Trinidad has, Brydens has, is going to create market access and volume for CPJ. So again, think synergies, think regional, and you see the full-on access. So agreed. So I hope I answered your question, David. And the other part of the question is what?
Services.
Yeah,
or
so I
products.
think
If CPJ access
it's from Bryden, services and product. I think you answered that.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be one team. So where we see the business, I mean, if you think of acquisitions, there's a difference between scaling and just buying companies, right? We're not in the business of buying companies, just add the numbers. We're in the business of buying companies, scaling them, extracting the synergy, say 1 + 1 = 3. If we don't create value above the individual companies together, then management have done a horrible job. And people like me shouldn't be here. So I mean, our job is to make sure the synergies combined gives you values that far supersede the individual companies by themselves. What will this mean? To me, that talent, you talk about just assets, but people, a big part of it. One of the most phenomenal projects I've ever been involved with was happened during CPJ. I was sitting in my office in Trinidad. Well, not my office. I was sitting in an office in Trinidad, and the Angostura management team came and met with me, and they wanted to have a partner in Jamaica to do a product they were doing, right? And their preferred partner was one company who declined to do it because of the individual involved, cartel, and etc. You know, I made a decision that we're going to do it. That was October. At a concert in December, we had no product. Kemar, you, Logan, the team, Nicholas, everybody. We literally went from a conversation to having product on the ground to having a product that is now a material volume in this country. For me, it was phenomenal that as Caribbean people, these are things you read about in business cases when you're in business school. For us to execute this on the ground with a team, that wine is different, wine is high, high to people. This is on the ground, distribution channel, rum bar, wholesaler, cross the length and breadth on Jamaica. The team without that experience delivered on it. Best in class service. It's now Angostura brings people to Jamaica to benchmark what's happening here. So I want to big up a number of people, Kemara calling him, Roja, who is Ingrid, the whole team. It's phenomenal. A lot of time we talk about people, but when you see it under pressure in action, it's amazing.
Okay, another question, easy one this time, from Renee Johnson. Why the change of financial year to December 31st?
No, that's easy. It's consistent with the rest of the group, calendar year end.
Okay. And then David Rose again. Query for the ASBH separate team. Were the CPJ ordinary shares pledged as security for the ASB takeover bid?
What's the answer to that, Bernard? No? Okay. Just come up here and say no so they can hear. Come. Come up. It's important. You're a CFO. It's important that people know who you are. One of the very, very talented, hardworking people in our team.
The answer is no.
See, that wasn't hard. Yes, another question.
And I am Natasha. Welcome to Kingston.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Natasha.
Yeah. According to my calculation, it's been 7 years since you paid dividends. Am I right?
No, you're not talking to me.
According to
It's
my
1 year since we have this company, my love. So can take that question back. Can't you?
according CPJ, it's been 7 years since CPJ paid dividends.
7 years and 6.
Am I right?
But the fact is that we bought the company in last year, July. So the history of the history. But having said that though, what I'll say for the CPJ previous owners, CPJ, like every other company, especially those in the hospitality industry, went through a really difficult period during COVID. And I think sometimes we'll move on and we'll forget. That was, for me, for companies to go through what they went through and come up on the other end fine, is a testimony to the entrepreneurial spirit and strength of the people that were there, including the people on the ground in CPJ. So I hear you on dividend, but we stay with dividend, we like pay dividend. So
So you will open the chapter of dividends payment, right?
I can confidently say that based on how the history and the DNA of our company, we want to reward our shareholders based on our performance.
All right. What are the main challenges you foresee in the year coming?
In this year coming?
Yeah.
You asked them a really good question this morning at the separate AGM. Listen, as PB Scott said this morning at separate, challenges and risk are part of the business. That's why you go in business, right? It's a risk-reward game. Some challenges at IC or the cybersecurity, as pointed out this morning, continue to be a strong challenge. So many companies are being affected across the region. And we have to be careful and be very vigilant on that. Both, not just putting in infrastructure, making sure the people are aware of what they should do and not do. Because most of the issues that happen arise from within. That's the reality. The second part, I think we always, and these are constant, we face, weather-related risk, etc. But supply chain risk, the reordering of the supply chain globally is a major risk, and we have to be on top of that. So the business that we used to do, the relationships we used to have, where we used to do things, we have to relook at those very carefully and move very quickly because the entire world order is being reorganized. So that it's a risk and an opportunity. So I think we have to look at it like that. So those are things we're really focusing on. The third thing is just speed and velocity. You know, I mean, it's when you're scaling up, when you're growing, that's when companies can be vulnerable. We have to make sure that we have the requisite urgency in place and accountability by everyone to get things done and done properly. So I think as to the opportunities, we look at them more as opportunities and risks, but certainly supply chain, major risk, cybersecurity are well up there.
So you are well prepared.
We are preparing every single day, and I mean it's you know, you hope to God that, and you need some luck. I mean, you know, if you for people who have been at CEPROD, you know, we could not have been prepared for a fire during COVID, right? I mean, we did everything we could, everything right, things happened. So I'm just saying we're working every day to mitigate and to reduce the impact of the risk. And if something were to happen, to put a resilient structure in place where we can rebound and move quickly on. A lot of time, the risk will materialize. If you live in a country like Jamaica, at some point you get a hurricane. But if you put a resilient structure in place for us to rebound and move quickly, that to me is what is most important.
Okay, thank you for your answers.
Thank you, Natasha, for the questions. Okay, after.
Pleasant good afternoon, Lansdale Bloomfield here, shareholder. Mr. Chairman, thank you for this opportunity to attend the first CPJ meeting. I have had this share for quite some years. Can't find a train or a helicopter to get to Montego Bay. But I hope, like the first shareholder said, I hope you consider having the meeting here in Kingston. So I have 3 quick questions. Thank you very much. Since A.S. Bryden and Sons owns some 75.28% of CPJ, what percentage of ownership does CEPROD has in A.S. Bryden and Sons?
Thank you. Okay, Bernadette Compound Senator, stand for right beside me. She has all the answers.
So the ownership percentage of AS Bryden and CPJ is now 80%. That was executed in 2025. Similarly, CEPROD's position in Bryden is 80% as well. Also executed in.
So we have no fear of AS Bryden domicile in Trinidad delisting CPJ.
You have no fear? Why would that be a fear? But anyway, there's no consideration at this point in time.
Okay. Page 93, note 22B. Please clarify line item and miscellaneous fees of $617.680 US.
Oh.
617,680 US dollar. Miscellaneous fees. What could possible cost such amount to be expended?
You it? Well, okay, give the team a little bit of time to just look at that and get back to you. They'll answer the question. So next question, and then we'll come back to that, just in the interest of time.
And my last question is CPJ expanding its footprint in the hospitality industry or some of the future, and what are the future plans going forward?
So first of all, the hospitality industry, I think you're speaking specifically to Jamaica?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the hospitality industry in Jamaica is expanding by itself, and CPJ is expanding with it. In addition, we're expanding the CPJ footprint in the hospitality industry in the region, whether it's St. Lucia or Barbados. I mean, so we're expanding. The answer to the question is yes, both locally and in the rest of the Caribbean region.
Okay, accepted. So back to my number 2 question.
Can you tackle it?
So, right, so during the period in question, and my auditor is here so he can remind me as well, we had some tax obligations to the Jamaica government, TAJ, and I think we did not make any allocations for it during the year. And so at the time when it became due and was paid, we accounted for it here because it was from a prior period.
So this is a one-off.
One-off, yes. So if you notice in the other columns, the amount is significantly less as you look at it. So this is a one-off payment that was recognized in the period.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. There's some questions online. Okay. Right.
Right, so from David again, and this is just him clarifying, saying that he shouldn't have asked about the takeover bid as it relates to the share, but he wanted to know during the process, July 2025, that initial investment process. And I think the answer is still no, right? So that's still no, David. Another question from David. Has CPJ considered the consolidation of debt into one structured facility like a bond or with a syndicated loan to better optimize financing costs and overall capital structure?
So David is asking a question, but I'm really giving you advice. That's what he's really doing. So this will be taken into consideration, David, but we're a really good finance team. You've met Bernadette, you've met Chris, and then we have Nicholas Scott at the Musson Group level, who heads a lot of our merger and acquisition stuff. We have an excellent team that, I mean, I think is first class when looking at opportunities within the finance sector. So we're taking the advice through your question, David, and I won't attempt to answer that here.
There you go. Another question from him. Is CPJ looking to continue its focus on growing the retail business in Jamaica, or is there a focus on expanding the export business?
I think I've answered that question several times, no?
Okay.
If you think separate and you think Brian's and you think CP, just think region, just think expansion. We grow.
Another question. When, David Rose again, when do you expect CPJ to return to a steady state where there will be excess cash to pay dividends to shareholders? Also, would CPJ continue?
Okay, well, that question I'm going to ask. US dollar dividends instead of J dollars, everything under consideration in due time. I can't answer the question about when we're going to be in a position to pay dividends or not. I cannot say the DNA of the organization, reinforce that. I can reinforce what my boss' position is. We believe that, we believe in paying dividends. We want all our stakeholders to benefit. We're quite proud of our track record in that regard, but the business has to support it in a sustainable way. So the answer to that, the commitment is that all stakeholders should benefit. And when we're in a position to do, we will.
So this is me paraphrasing another question from David. He said he's asking about the CapEx expenditure regarding manufacturing plant, solar system, both in Jamaica and CPJ, and he's asking if these projects have been completed for both Jamaica and St. Lucia.
So there are projects in process. So for example, the solar was completed prior to acquisition.
Correct.
The meat plant project was in progress, and we're continuing that, and we expect to complete that, I would say, end of October. Thereabout, that should be completed. We're having our consultants in, now we're getting more equipment. And I mean, everything is a function of supply chain also. It's more and more difficult when you order things to get things in, but we're aiming for end of October before obviously in CPJ and the hospitality world, November onwards is when everything kicks in, right? So you want to complete all your projects before the high season starts. And in terms of the other project, ERP, we just spoke about that. We're at a point of stabilization now. Had some pain points, and definitely had pain points that we're getting past now. That we expect to be stabilized and, all knocking every wood possible. We expect within the next 2 weeks to be kind of flowing again the way we ought to be with the right service level.
Okay. So his other question is on the ERP, which I think you already answered. He wanted to know if we had an ERP before, and how will the new ERP improve things going forward?
Yeah, I mean, there are ERP and it's an improvement, a more integrated system that that's what we're striving for, to create more efficiencies and also to create more visibility for the team to make decisions. We want our team to be empowered to make decisions based on the data in front of them. And, I think one thing that happens a lot in the region is that our people aren't empowered a lot to make decisions, and everybody kind of go up the hierarchy. We believe in a very flat structure and one where people are empowered to make decisions They know the direction of the company, know what we're trying to achieve, and they have the tools to help make the decision. So I mean, you know, that's about it really. I mean, it's yeah, I can't answer that anymore.
Okay. Two more questions from David. He
Two questions from David, huh?
he mentioned,
David, come have a drink with me.
and he's tying both meetings together. He mentioned that the chairman spoke about CPJ offloading cargo in Kingston to optimize logistics. How is the CPJ separate integration going to improve synergies, and what is the expected cost savings?
Right, so we spoke about that this morning, and this CPJ having a distribution footprint in Kingston is directly a function of separate distribution logistics infrastructure creating that space. We have not built a new warehouse, they haven't rented a new warehouse, we have simply created space within the existing location, over 2,000 pallet spaces for CPJ to use in Kingston. That's a direct result and benefit of the synergies. In terms of cost savings, you know, David, I have competition too, and I'm not there telling them business, so I'm not telling them all of my business, you know. So it's going to generate savings. I mean, and the savings there are two sides to the equation. There's savings by eliminating the cost activities of moving, but there's also growth and revenue gain by having your teams now being able to go to more customers in the same period of time and going deeper in the trade. So, you know, again, you have to focus on those things. I don't know what the results will be, but we're pretty confident that every time we see more customers go deeper in the channel, we generate more sales. So, I mean, it's positive, but I won't put a number here right now.
Great. And final question, which is one that I've been spoken about before. He's asking about the SEZ, and he wants to know if it's in Kingston or Montego Bay, and whether or not we are still pursuing home porting as its subsidiary. The answer to that is yes.
Okay, yes and yes. Montego Bay and yes. All right, any other questions from anyone else? Sorry, sorry, if the CPJ share price has, if it's going to fall, why would it? I don't know. Okay, no, I don't know. I mean, you know, share price is a function of so many things. As management, what we are committed to do is making sure we build a fundamental and grow the business and put it in the right place. And you know, share price is also a function of confidence, also a function of what is happening in the wider economic space. So I mean, it's I won't speak about share price, but what I do know confidently is that the team will work hard to put the fundamentals in place where any shareholder going to know that they have a good asset on their hand. All right, so okay, so the next point is the adoption of auditor's report and audited accounts. So I move that the director's report, the auditor's report, and the audited accounts showing the position of the company's affairs as of December 31st, 2024, now before the meeting, be and are hereby approved and adopted. Can someone please move that motion? Anybody? Chris Myers moving. Who is seconding? What's your name, sir? You got that? Josiah Williams. We allow the online. Are there any results? Everything is all approved? All yea? Any nays? No? No? Okay, so the result of the voting, we have done that, is approved. Election of directors. In accordance with Article 102 of the company's Articles of Association, the following directors by rotation are retiring from office and being eligible offer themselves for re-election. Mr. Thomas Tyler, Candice Hart, and Teresa Chin. Will someone please move that the nominations be made en bloc? Josiah, and seconded by December 31, 2024 for director's fee be and is hereby approved. Will somebody please move that motion? I move it. Will somebody please second it? Okay. Mr. Bloomfield? All right, I'm getting all kind of names. I want all the names and the things. No, nothing from the shareholders online? No no's, right? Everybody good? Appointment and remuneration of auditors. It's an important one. So KPMG will be replaced by PwC as external auditors. I move that PwC be appointed auditors for the ensuing year. Seconded by? Okay. I now move that the directors be authorized to fix and agree the remuneration of the auditors. Can somebody please second the motion? Carol Leslie, L-E-S-L-E-Y? Okay. So we did all the voting on those, nothing online, no nays, all yeas? Okay. Any other business? Is there any other business to be discussed? We had extensive discussion before. Any other business to be discussed? Awesome. There being no further business, I declare the meeting adjourned. Please join us for refreshments and I'll look a link up afterwards. Thank you. Oh, thank you, everyone. That'll be a disaster. Oh God, I might. Sorry.
I would say it. I would have said the same thing.